Count the years, not the years you've lived, the years you've given away, the years you worked only for the wage in your hand, never more, the years you waited for someone to notice, for someone to call your name, for the world to see what you could do, while men with less skill, less vision, less heart stepped ahead of you. Do you know why they passed you? It was not because they were better. It was not because life favored them. It was because they gave more than they were paid for. They sowed in every field they touched, and their extra seed grew crops the world could not ignore. They became too valuable to overlook, too useful to replace, too trusted to deny. The man who gives more than he is paid for gains far more than the coin in his pocket. He gains skill, because extra work sharpens every tool he owns. He gains strength, because extra responsibility builds a mind and spirit that can carry greater loads. He gains friends, because the world admires the man who serves beyond the call. He gains influence, because every act of surplus service is a silent advertisement for his worth. He gains goodwill, the kind that opens doors without knocking. He gains reputation, the quiet word passed from man to man saying, "This is the one you can count on." He gains opportunities that never appear to the one who stops at the exact measure of his pay. He gains the right to ask more, to take more, to become more, because his record already proves he can deliver it. And in time, he gains freedom. Freedom from the fear of dismissal, because his value is greater than his wage. Freedom from dependence on a single employer, because his reputation invites offers from many. Freedom from the prison of small thinking, because he has seen with his own eyes that the world pays in proportion to the service rendered, and will pay beyond proportion when the service is abundant. So yes, you may have wasted years working to the level of your pay instead of raising your pay to the level of your service. But today, that stops. Today, you will no longer ask what you can get away with giving. Today, you will give until your service stands as a monument to your worth, and the world will have no choice but to meet you on higher ground. Because here is the truth no one tells you. The man who works only for what he is paid is always paid less than he is worth. The man who gives more than he is paid for is already on the road to riches, influence, trust, and command. And if you begin this way today, you will not just catch up to the years you lost, you will pass them. You will take back the ground you surrendered, and you will do it by serving so greatly that no man alive can deny you what is yours. Stop waiting for permission. Stop asking the world to grant you what only your own hand can seize. Every moment you remain in the posture of the supplicant, you weaken your spirit and delay your reward. Life does not yield its best to those who beg. It yields to those who have given value and then stand to receive in full measure. Most men live as askers. They wish for a better life, they pray for opportunity, they envy those who have risen, yet they ignore the law that governs all gain. That law is the golden rule, applied not merely in speech, but in thought, action, and daily service. It is the law that fixes the return by the measure of what is first given. Taking, as I speak of it, is not theft. It is not grasping at what belongs to another. It is the rightful claiming of what you have earned by definite thought, definite action, and the rendering of just and abundant service. It is meeting the harvest with the tools you planted, cultivated, and guarded until it was ready to be gathered. The asker's mindset is a disease. It lives on hope of charity from others instead of creating a surplus of usefulness and character that draws reward as iron draws the magnet. The asker measures his days by what he receives, the builder by what he has given. One remains dependent, the other becomes indispensable. Giving precedes receiving. This is not sentiment, it is law. No man has risen to power without first giving more than he was paid to give, thinking more highly of others than they at first thought of him, and rendering service that was unmistakably worth more than the wage or praise he received in the moment. When you think highly of others, you plant the seed for them to think highly of you. When you render service gladly, you prepare the ground for greater opportunity. When you walk in justice toward all men, you invite justice in return. These are not hopes, they are causes, each with an effect as certain as sunrise. Consider Andrew Carnegie, who built his fortune by making others rich in opportunity, turning young men into leaders, partners, and builders. Or Henry Ford, who gave the common man a car he could afford, creating a market by serving it first. John Wanamaker built his name on fair dealing with every customer. Thomas Edison lit the homes of millions before his own name was secure in the public mind. These men did not wait to be asked for more. They gave more. They did not plead for recognition. They made themselves so useful that recognition and reward could not be withheld. They stopped asking and they started taking, not by force, but by the irresistible pull of value delivered. You must decide whether you will remain among those who ask timidly or rise among those who take boldly, with justice and merit as their claim. The world has little patience for the perpetual asker. It has every welcome for the man whose service has earned him a place at the table. From this day, speak this affirmation and make it the law of your conduct. I give first. I serve greatly. I take only what I have earned. I walk in justice toward all men. Speak it until your voice convinces your mind and your mind compels your action. This is the turning point from asking to taking, from waiting to working, from hoping to having. The golden rule is not a polite saying to be recited on special occasions. It is a law of conduct as fixed as the law of gravity, as certain as the law of cause and effect. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If you violate it, you will pay the price. If you obey it, the reward will follow as surely as the harvest follows the seed. Most men treat this rule as sentiment, fit for books and sermons, but not for the hard business of life. They speak it, yet think of others with suspicion. They quote it, yet deal in ways they would not wish for themselves. They keep it only when it is convenient and wonder why fortune remains out of reach. Understand this: your thoughts toward others will, in time, become their thoughts toward you. If you sow respect, you will reap respect. If you sow suspicion, you will reap suspicion. If you secretly desire another man's loss, you invite loss into your own affairs. The mind is a transmitter, and it returns to you the quality of thought you send out. A common error is to apply the rule only after others have done so. The man who waits to be treated well before treating others well is still an asker. He is bargaining for fairness instead of creating it. The builder applies the rule first without condition, knowing that the seed must be planted before it can be reaped. Abraham Lincoln practiced this law even in the fiercest days of war and politics. He showed respect to allies and opponents alike, and many who once opposed him became his strongest supporters. John D. Rockefeller, in his great enterprises, valued honest partnerships and kept faith with those who kept faith with him. George Eastman treated employees as partners in his vision, creating loyalty that endured. Accurate thinking is required to apply the golden rule. See others not as tools for your gain, but as allies in your advancement. Understand that service is not loss, it is an investment. Every courtesy, every honest dealing, every effort to think well of another is a coin placed where it will draw interest. I give you this exercise. List 5 ways you would like others to treat you. These may be fairness in trade, respect in conversation, promptness in payment, praise for honest effort, or loyalty in times of trial. Then make those your own daily actions toward others, whether or not they have yet shown you the same. Speak this affirmation until it becomes habit. I deal justly. I give respect. I keep faith. I serve as I wish to be served. The man who lives by this law will find doors open to him that remain closed to the clever trickster and the smooth talker. For the golden rule, when lived, becomes a magnet that draws the very treatment you desire. The habit of asking without first giving is the slow poison of ambition. It breeds dependence, weakens resolve, and plants resentment in the heart of the giver. The man who lives by request trains his mind to expect life to come from outside himself, and each unearned favor makes him less able to create his own supply. Every time you wait for others to make your way, you give them mastery over your fate. You hand them the key to your advancement and stand idle while they decide whether or not to turn it. No man rises by permission. He rises by preparing himself to be necessary and then stepping forward to fill the place he has earned. Taking in its rightful sense means seizing opportunity because you are prepared, visible, and valuable. It means advancing toward the opening with proof in your hand of what you can do. It is not pleading for chance. It is answering the call of readiness when it comes. The unprepared man calls this boldness. The prepared man calls it justice. Dr. Frank W. Gonzalez did not ask for charity when he needed funds to build a college. He had a definite plan, and he spoke of it with such conviction that Philip D. Armour saw the value and supplied the means. This was not begging. It was building, and the giving followed naturally because the value was certain. F.W. Woolworth did not ask for pity when he began. He offered what he could give, small goods at fair prices, and served his customers faithfully. The returns grew because the service grew. He was not an asker. He was a giver, and giving made him worthy to take his rightful reward. Envy is the language of the perpetual asker. He sees another man's gain and calls it luck or theft, never seeing the years of service and preparation that made it possible. Envy turns the eyes outward to what others have instead of inward to what can be given. It is the chief excuse of those who will not build. I give you this exercise. Identify one area in your life where you have been waiting for someone else to act. It may be a promotion you hope to be offered, a connection you hope will be made, an idea you hope will be noticed. Replace the waiting with one act of service or creation today, something that makes you more valuable and harder to ignore. Speak this affirmation until it is fixed in your mind. I do not wait. I act. I give before I receive. I take my place by merit. The man who builds by giving becomes a man who can take without shame, for the world delights to pay in full measure where value has been freely given. Every gain you will ever enjoy is payment for value given. To take without first giving is to break the law of all exchange. And though you may enjoy the fruit for a season, the root will wither and loss will come. The world keeps strict accounts, and where you have given nothing, it will in time allow you nothing. Giving is the first step to taking, not because the world is sentimental, but because service is the proof of your worth. When you give, you sharpen your skill, build goodwill, and invite opportunity. You make yourself indispensable. And when you are indispensable, no just man will deny you the place you have earned. Andrew Carnegie gave opportunity to capable men long before he took the largest share of reward. His giving was not charity. It was a deliberate building of an army of partners whose growth brought his own. He created more wealthy men than perhaps any other of his age, and in doing so, secured his own fortune beyond contest. Charles M. Schwab gave loyalty, enthusiasm, and the readiness to do more than asked. These qualities made him invaluable to Carnegie and later to the great steel enterprises he led. His giving was in character and conduct, and it drew to him offers that others never saw. He did not wait for better terms. He gave better service. The quality of service matters as much as the quantity. Service given grudgingly is a stone dropped into poor soil. It will not grow. Service rendered willingly, cheerfully, with attention to detail is a seed planted in rich earth. Men remember the spirit of your work as much as the work itself, and the spirit returns in kind. Do not imagine that giving means only labor. Giving may be a thought of encouragement, a courtesy extended, a plan improved, a wrong quietly corrected, or an idea freely shared. All are forms of value, and all will return to you, though the form of the return may differ from the form of the gift. Some will tell you to hold back until you are paid to give. This is the counsel of the fearful and the small. If you wish to take much, you must give more than you are paid for now. The man who matches his service to his wage will remain at his wage. The man who makes his service exceed his wage will make his wage exceed his service. Every extra measure you give is a note of credit in the account of opportunity. It may not be paid tomorrow, but it will be paid when the conditions are ripe. And when the day comes, the payment will often be larger than you dared to expect, because value given grows in the memory of those who received it. Giving in this manner is not loss, it is planting. The farmer does not fear to plant more seed than he needs for today's meal, for he knows the surplus will return multiplied. The man of enterprise does not fear to give more than is required for today's pay, for he knows the surplus will return in promotion, in partnership, in profit. I give you this exercise. Write down 3 ways you can add more value to your current work or relationships. These may be new skills to learn, better methods to apply, courtesies to extend, or problems to solve without being asked. Begin one of them today, and do it with the spirit of one who is building a fortune in trust. Let your giving be consistent. A single day of exceptional service will be remembered. A lifetime of it will be rewarded without measure. Let every man who deals with you know that your word will be kept, your work will be sound, and your manner will be fair. These are forms of giving as real as money or goods. There will be those who take what you give and offer nothing in return. Do not let them harden your spirit. The law of return is not bound to a single man's gratitude. Your giving will return through other channels, through allies you have not yet met, through opportunities not yet visible. Keep the law, and the law will keep you. Speak this affirmation until it governs your thought. I render more service than I am paid for. I give with willingness. My giving attracts abundance. Let it be the measure by which you judge your own conduct. If your service today was only what was required, tomorrow's pay will be only what is necessary. If your service today was greater, tomorrow's pay will be greater. Giving is not a stage to pass through on the way to taking. It is the foundation of all taking. The man who ceases to give will, in time, cease to take. But the man who keeps the balance in favor of giving will find the current of return always flowing toward him, carrying rewards he could not have claimed in any other way. There is a mental law as certain as gravity. What you habitually think about others will, in time, color their thoughts of you. If your thoughts toward others are high, respectful, and just, you prepare the way for them to think highly, respectfully, and justly of you. If your thoughts are low, suspicious, and bitter, you invite the same return. Thinking highly of others means expecting the best in them, seeking their virtues before their faults, and giving them the benefit of your confidence until they prove unworthy of it. It does not mean blindness to wrongdoing. It means beginning each relation with the presumption of good faith, for this is the soil in which trust can grow. Suspicion is a poison that works silently. It creeps into your speech, your manner, your smallest dealings. It builds walls where there should be gates, and it sows doubt where there might have been cooperation. In time, the man you suspect will feel your suspicion, and his attitude toward you will match the one you have held toward him. Criticism, when it becomes a habit, blinds you to opportunity. The man you dismiss in thought may be the one who could have opened the door you seek. Contempt closes more doors than poverty. Many men remain poor, not because they lack skill, but because they have disqualified themselves in the eyes of others through their own small thinking. Henry Ford refused to speak ill of rivals, even when he could have gained advantage by doing so. He saw no profit in dragging down another man's name. Thomas Edison gave public credit to the teams who helped bring his ideas to life, knowing that such acknowledgement deepened their loyalty and sharpened their effort. Abraham Lincoln appointed former opponents to high office because he valued their abilities over his personal grievances. When you think highly of others, you lift yourself. The mind that is occupied with praise and recognition of good qualities becomes more open, more generous, and more attractive. People are drawn to those who see the best in them, and once drawn, they often repay the courtesy with opportunities, trust, and goodwill. Thinking highly of others also raises your own standard. You will find it difficult to act dishonorably toward a man you have trained yourself to admire. You will hesitate to cheat the man whose virtues you have often acknowledged. In honoring others, you make it harder to dishonor yourself. I give you this exercise. For the next 7 days, write down one quality you admire in each person you meet or work with. Speak of it when the occasion is right, without flattery or exaggeration. Watch how this changes the tone of your dealings and the responses you receive. You will notice that some who have been cold will grow warmer. Others who have been neutral will begin to regard you with respect. Even those who remain distant will carry in their minds the impression that you are fair in thought and generous in judgment. This impression will travel ahead of you, opening doors you have not yet reached. The habit of thinking highly of others must be genuine. Pretended respect is quickly detected and soon breeds distrust. You cannot mask your real opinion for long. Therefore, train your mind until respect is your natural starting point. Let it become as natural to you as breathing, and it will require no effort to sustain. This habit also protects you from one of the great wastes of attention, resentment. The man who fills his mind with grudges against others has no space left for plans, for improvement, for opportunity. By thinking highly of others, you refuse to carry the needless burden of bitterness, and your mind is left clear for the work that matters. Speak this affirmation daily until it shapes your conduct. I see the worth in others. I honor their strengths. I invite honor in return. Let it be both a guide and a guard toward how you treat others, and a guard against the petty thoughts that would lower you. When the day comes for you to take what is yours, you will find it easier if you have built a reputation for fairness and respect. Men will not resist your advancement if they have known you to think well of them and deal justly with them. Many will help you take what you have earned, seeing in your gain a reflection of your regard for them. The world does not cheer the man who reaches the top by treading on every other man along the way. It does cheer the man who climbs while giving respect and encouragement to others, for his rise feels like a gain for all. By thinking highly of others, you make it easier for them to think highly of your success and to welcome it. Giving alone is not enough. Many men give greatly yet remain in the shadows because they lack the courage to claim the reward that is rightfully theirs. They work, they serve, they contribute beyond their pay, and then they step back, allowing others with more daring to take the position, the profit, or the recognition. This is not humility, it is surrender. There is a time to give without asking, and there is a time to take what is due. The law of cause and effect demands balance. If you have sown, you must reap. If you have built, you must own. If you have earned, you must accept. To refuse the harvest you have worked for is to break the law as surely as if you had tried to harvest without sowing. The fear that stops men from claiming what they have earned is often the fear of criticism. They worry that others will say they are arrogant, greedy, or undeserving. But the truth is that the world rarely gives to those who do not ask, and never to those who refuse to take. Those who shrink back invite the bold to step forward and take their place. Decision is the first key to claiming what is yours. Decide that you will not leave your fate in the hands of chance or in the pockets of others. Decide that the work you have done gives you the right to step up, speak out, and take possession of the opportunity when it appears. Without decision, the moment will pass, and the reward will go to another. Persistence is the second key. Even after you step forward, there may be delay, resistance, or opposition. Many men make a single attempt and retreat when met with difficulty. The persistent man presses on, reminding himself that the same courage that brought him this far will carry him through. He does not step back until the prize is in his hands. Thomas Edison gave to the world through countless inventions, but when others tried to steal his work, he defended his patents fiercely. His giving did not mean surrendering his rights. It meant guarding them so that he could continue to create. Andrew Carnegie did not apologize for taking control of opportunities he had built through years of strategic service. George Eastman expanded boldly once his photographic system was perfected, claiming markets he had prepared through his own foresight and labor. You must train yourself to recognize the moment to claim what is yours. The signs are clear. You have prepared thoroughly. You have given more than you were paid for, and the opportunity now stands open. At such a moment, hesitation is defeat. The man who waits for an invitation will watch another man walk through the door. There is a difference between claiming what you have earned and taking what is not yours. One is justice, the other is theft. Justice demands that you do not shrink from your rights any more than you would deny another man his. It demands that you stand firm when the time comes, not because you are grasping, but because you are fair to yourself, to your work, and to the law that governs reward. I give you this exercise. Identify one reward, opportunity, or recognition you have earned but not claimed. It may be a pay increase you have justified through performance, a position you are qualified to hold, a client you have the ability to serve, or a project you have the right to lead. Take one definite step toward it today. Ask, apply, present, or act. You will feel resistance from within. That resistance is the voice of old habit, the habit of waiting for permission. Ignore it. Replace it with the habit of claiming by acting in spite of the discomfort. Each time you do this, the fear will grow weaker, and your ability to claim what is yours will grow stronger. Affirm this daily. I claim what I have earned. I take my place without apology. I stand for the value I have given. I persist until I receive what is mine. Say it aloud, and then take at least one action that proves you mean it. Words without action are noise. Words followed by action are power. Remember, life respects the man who respects himself enough to demand fairness. If you give and do not claim, the world will assume you need nothing more. If you give and claim, the world will respect your balance of service and reward. In time, you will be sought after, not only for your skill, but for your courage to stand by it. The day you learn to take what is yours is the day you stop watching others live the life you could have had. You will no longer be the man who applauds from the crowd. You will be the man who stands on the stage of his own achievements. And you will have earned every step to that place by the value you gave first. All lasting success rests on mutual benefit. Every enduring fortune, every strong partnership, every enterprise that lives beyond its founder is built on this truth. The transaction must leave both sides richer in some way. If one side gains while the other loses, the gain will be short-lived, for injustice carries within it the seed of its own destruction. The man who takes without giving may enjoy his advantage for a moment, but the trust he has broken will close future doors. Men will not deal twice with one who has left them poorer in spirit or in purse. The man who gives without taking will win praise for his generosity, but he will weaken himself by draining his resources without replenishment. Balance is the key. Mutual benefit is not a polite ideal. It is the most practical foundation you can build on. It creates allies instead of adversaries, loyal customers instead of one-time buyers, partners who work for your gain because they know their own gain is tied to it. This is the law in commerce, in leadership, in friendship, and in life. John D. Rockefeller was often criticized by those who misunderstood his methods, but those who dealt closely with him knew he structured agreements so that both he and his partners profited. It was this habit that built networks of cooperation that spanned industries and lasted decades. John Wanamaker built his mercantile empire by ensuring customers felt they had gained in every purchase. He was not content to take their money. He wanted them to feel they had received more in value than they had given in price. This principle brought them back again and again and turned his name into a guarantee of fairness. The law of mutual benefit applies to labor as well. The employer who pays less than the service is worth will lose his best men to fairer hands. The worker who gives less than he is paid for will lose his position to one who delivers more. Both sides must profit, or both sides will eventually suffer. This principle also governs reputation. When men know that dealing with you leaves them better than before, your name will travel ahead of you, opening opportunities without your asking. But if they leave feeling diminished, your name will close doors before you arrive. Your reputation is the compound interest of mutual benefit. To apply this law, examine every relationship, every transaction, every agreement you hold. Ask yourself, is the other side gaining as I gain? If the answer is no, find a way to increase their benefit. This is not charity. It is the soundest form of self-interest, for it ensures the relationship will endure and grow. I give you this exercise. Review your current dealings, business, personal, and social. For each, write down the value you give and the value you receive. If the giving outweighs the receiving, find where you must claim more. If the receiving outweighs the giving, find where you must add more value. Adjust until balance is restored. Affirm this daily. I seek mutual gain. I give and take in balance. I build prosperity that endures. Let this guide your decisions, for it will keep your gains clean and your opportunities constant. When both sides profit, they will work to protect and expand the relationship. When both sides are satisfied, they will speak well of each other in public and in private. And in time, the circle of mutual benefit will grow so wide that your name will be linked not only with success, but with fairness and trust. Remember, your aim is not to win at another's expense. It is to create a condition in which all involved rise together. In such a condition, success becomes self-sustaining. You will no longer have to ask for the next opportunity. It will be offered, because those who have gained with you will want to gain with you again. This is the law of mutual benefit in action. Build by it, and you will find that every transaction leaves behind not just profit, but allies. And the man with allies is the man who can take boldly, knowing that he has given well. You now stand at the crossing point between the old life and the new. Behind you lies the path of asking, waiting for others to open doors, hoping for favors, holding back your service until you are sure of the return. Before you lies the road of taking, not by force or deceit, but by justice, readiness, and the proof of value given first. Every principle we have spoken of leads to this moment. You have learned that giving is the seed and taking is the harvest. You have learned that the golden rule is the law that governs all fair exchange, that thinking highly of others invites them to think highly of you, that mutual benefit binds men together in lasting gain, and that the courage to claim what is yours must stand beside the habit of rendering more than you are paid for. You must now unite these into a single rhythm. Give first, give greatly, give with cheer, and then take without apology what your giving has earned. This is not the way of the timid. It is the way of the builder, the leader, the man who directs his own fate. It demands that you stop measuring your service against today's pay and start measuring it against tomorrow's reward. Understand that drift will try to return. The habit of waiting, of softening your claim, of letting others pass ahead, will call to you when the moment comes to act. You must answer with the voice of the new law, I have given, therefore I shall take. I have earned, therefore I shall claim. I have sown, therefore I shall reap. The man who waits for the perfect moment to begin will never begin. The perfect moment is now, because it is the only moment you can use. If you wait until you feel fully ready, you will watch the bold man take the place you could have held. Readiness grows in the act, not in the delay. For the next 30 days, make this your march. Each morning, perform one act of service for which you are not yet paid. It may be in your work, in your home, in your dealings. Anywhere you can add value without being asked. This is the seed. In the same morning, think one respectful thought of another, and where fitting, speak it aloud. This is the soil in which the seed will grow. Before the day ends, claim one rightful opportunity. It may be as small as voicing a solution in a meeting, asking for a responsibility you can fulfill, presenting work you have done without being told, or offering your skill to a new ally. This is the taking. These three acts, give, think highly, claim, are the steps of the march. You will find that the first days feel awkward. Old habits will whisper, "You are giving too much. You are speaking too well of others. You are too forward in taking." Ignore them. These are the voices of the man you were, not the man you are becoming. In time, the acts will become natural, and the results will become inevitable. The law is clear. What you give freely and in abundance will return to you in multiplied form, but only if you are willing to take it when it comes. The man who gives and then hides when the reward arrives breaks the circuit, and the current of opportunity will turn toward someone else. Do not mistake this taking for greed. Greed seeks to take without giving, or to take more than is due. Justice seeks to take exactly what is earned, no more, no less. It is greed to seize another man's harvest. It is justice to gather your own. The world is not offended by the man who takes what he has built. It is offended by the man who builds nothing and takes everything. In this march, you will also learn to see opportunity where you once saw only routine. The task you finish well becomes the argument for greater trust. The courtesy you extend becomes the invitation to greater circles. The respect you give becomes the magnet for alliances. And each of these creates a new opening for you to claim. Many men will stop at the giving. They will say, "If I give, surely the reward will find me." Sometimes it will, but more often, the world is too busy to deliver it to your door. You must step forward and receive it. That step is the difference between the man who dies with his potential unspent and the man whose life stands as a monument to what is possible. Think of Edison. He gave light to the world, but did not sit waiting for the world to recognize it. He defended his work, secured his rights, and used them to continue his giving. Think of Carnegie. He built men and enterprises and then took command of them to multiply the good they could do. Think of Ford. He gave the common man a car and then took the market that grew from it. Each morning of this march, remind yourself that you are no longer an asker. You do not beg for the respect, the pay, the opportunity, the position. You earn them, and then you take them. Say aloud, "I give richly. I take rightly. I live by the golden rule. I walk in justice, and abundance walks with me." In the 30 days ahead, you will meet tests. Someone will question your right to take what you have earned. Answer with your record of giving. Someone will try to take it before you can. Answer by standing where you belong, prepared, confident, and immovable. Someone will tell you to wait for another time. Answer by taking the time you have and using it. By the end of the 30 days, you will feel the change. The fear of stepping forward will have faded. The habit of giving first will be set. The respect for others will be in your thought and on your tongue. The instinct to claim your own will be sharper than hesitation. You will be a man who no longer waits for life to hand him his share. He takes it because he has given the world cause to give it to him. From then on, you must keep the rhythm. Give daily. Think highly daily. Claim daily. These are not steps to use for a month and forget. They are the permanent march of the man who governs his own destiny. If you stop, drift will return, and you will find yourself again at the mercy of others' will. The greatest gain of this march will not be the rewards you take, though they will be many. It will be the transformation of your own mind, from one that looks outward for permission to one that looks inward for decision. That mind will never again be satisfied to sit idle while another man claims the prize. When you look back on your life, let it be said that you were a man who gave without measure, who respected without condition, who claimed without fear, and who left the world richer than he found it. That is the legacy of one who has learned the art of giving and taking in justice. I leave you with this charge. Begin today. Do not plan for next week, next month, or next year. The march begins now with one act of service, one thought of respect, and one rightful claim. Repeat it tomorrow and the day after until it becomes your nature. Then watch as the world begins to shape itself around you, offering more than you once thought possible, because you have learned to give without limit and to take without shame. And when you have walked this march, return for more. There are other laws to master, other powers to claim, other stations to reach. Each speech I give is another step toward the complete mastery of yourself and the conditions of your life. Continue, and you will become not only a taker of what is yours, but a giver of what will inspire others to follow in your path.